Hey, what's up everybody, Morph here. I have a very special video for you guys today. It is my 3,000 subscriber celebration video, and it is gonna be our Siby build, finally. First off, I want to thank everybody for all the continued support that you give me. People in my lives, you guys are awesome, and to the new subscribers and the old ones, thank you once again. So, without further ado, let me take you to our little friend. Let's go! Oh, hey guys, it's been a while. Yup, we got a new character that we are using quite often. We got Siby! Siby! You guys have seen me on my lives play Siby, and you've been asking me on my lives how my build is, what is it, how do you play her, how did you build it? Well, here we go. This is my Siby build. So Siby, let's take a look at her skills really quick. This is going to be your major damaging skill. Some people think it's this one, it's actually this. And it's not Divine Conqueror, it's more of Legion's Punishment that deals a lot of damage. Okay, so go here, you see Divine Conqueror's damage is this, and you might think that this is the damage. Well, this deals a lot more damage because it hits multiple times. This one's good for initial, but this one's better. As you can see, her scaling is not the best, but it is already better than Hellfire's for several reasons. One, because this hits hard immediately, and then there's a bunch of other hits that follow after that. With Hellfire, it's just the AoE field, and there you go. So already better. Of course, you get the HP, because she is an HP scaler. And you Stormcaller, this is your orb thing. This is the thing that you're going to be hitting with your skills, and what makes Sibylle really fun and enjoyable to play, because you can use her with many different characters and create some pretty crazy amplification damage. Because the orb basically amplifies your damage not just by 10% that says right here, but when you have Introns, it actually becomes 18%. Not the biggest upgrade, that's why she needs a little bit more of a buff, guys. She could be the ultimate backfielder for your AoE DPS. Damn, those shades look really good. Oh, my bad. I like her glasses on her. The white ones? Nice. Alright. Her passive, when the damage dealt triggers bonus effect, Sibylle gains certain points of might. This points of might increase the damage of your skills. And you gain 15 points every time you do a trigger bonus effect. That's why your melee weapon needs a lot of trigger probability. It's very important to remember this. I do not need to hit my orb with my melee weapon to trigger this anymore, but if you are a new Sibylle main, you probably will need it. Alright, so this one, Master of Storm Clouds, is what makes you be able to not have to hit the orb anymore. Once you get this thing, your Might of Thunder will be self-sustaining when you cast your Divine Conqueror. Because Legion of Punishment and Divine Conqueror will trigger the gain of 15 points. And you will see on the demo video later on the exploration that you will be triggering it non-stop. There you go, trigger probability. So again, you need a good melee weapon because it says it's based on Sibylle's melee weapon trigger probability. So whatever melee weapon you're equipped with. Lastly, you increase other Electro allies attack when you're the companion. If you have enough points, you might want to get more skill damage and of course more skill damage. However, I will be making a video on this. You have to be careful with your Twilight Tread. So that's why she is not yet plus 10 and then 2. She isn't level 12 yet. We will see if I will continue to put points into her. Okay, so that's her skills and that's how she works. A very, very fun character at that. Now let's talk about the Introns really quick. This one, when taking damage from Divine Conquer and Legion's Punishment, the orb damage taken transfer ratio is increased by 2%, which kinda feels like a joke, right? It should be more than 2%. This is such a weak Intron that it is almost laughable. This is why she needs buffs, and this is where you can start. I don't know if it should be at least times 2, like make it 20%, not 2%. It could be 2% multiplied by 2. I don't know what they were thinking with this. She needs a buff. Next up, this one's pretty decent. Increase Might of Thunder point cap to 600. Each point of Might of Thunder increases Legion's punishment damage by 0.1. So it would reach up to 60% more damage when you do Legion's punishment. This is the second half of the damage of your E of Divine Conqueror. So not the boot, but the lightning after. Each point of Might of Thunder increases the damage taken transfer ratio of Chaotic Thunder Orb by 0.01%. So 600, this is 6%. That's why it's a total of, this is 8 in total plus the 10 original, so it's 18% transfer ratio. It's basically equals to a level 8 Daphne buff, in a way. It's like additional damage to everything around the orb that it's linked to. Pretty good. Honestly, not bad. But it needs more. Next up, you got more points in Divine Conquer, which is good, and then Might of Thunder for more regeneration. Alright, then you get Legion's Punishment. This is actually a W, but I wish this was higher than 20. Again, if they want to buff her, you can buff her with this. You can buff her Introns and she might scale better. But this is pretty good. When Legion's Punishment deals damage, there's a 20% chance to trigger its effect once. So it's for every lightning. And you actually, this kind of triggers kind of often. To be fair. So this is not bad. More levels. And the I6. Basically what happens here is when an enemy is linked to the summoner, summon Chaotic Thunder Orb for the first time, Sibylle deals an additional instance of Legion's Punishment damage to that target at 500%, basically 5 times multiplier of the base multiplier guaranteed to trigger Electro bonus effects. So Electro bonus effect is that Electro damage over time thing. This is actually pretty good. It makes your Q into a very good AoE nuker for farming, like Demon Wedges. It actually works. You just hit your Q again. You don't even press E. You just spam the orb and it just kills everything in sight as long as they're within range. And that's where she has a little bit of problems. Okay? Now that we're done with that, let's get into her Demon Wedges. Ooh, this will be a good one. Alright, so as you can see, I have invested in the Electro team. Outside of my Pyro team, I invested in the Electro team quite a lot. So first up, you want Ravaging Thunder. This is an absolutely powerful Demon Wedge for Sibylle. She is a skill spammer, so this will increase her damage a lot. Very, very strong. It's a 16-second. It will decay the stacks, right? So you gotta keep hitting it 8 times. You get 8 stacks. So that is pretty big. That is like a 79% damage bonus for this part. And then you have the 55% here. and this is skill damage. So that is quite a lot of damage. 100, I don't know. I'm bad with math. 132 or something. I don't know, I'm bad. But whatever. That much more damage. Big number, bigger damage. You want to run Phoenix Nirvana because you're gonna scale her HP. But you do not want to run too many HP scaling things because there are other things that are better for multiplying your damage. Of course, you need to run Wing Inspo. Some people think you don't need to. They're wrong, you need to. Wing Inspo will definitely help you out for later waves and harder content. Constantly spamming E to maintain the stacks of this thing. You need this. Plus, this is such a big damage increase just because you can spam. Alright, you might have noticed we are running Attack Morale. Unfortunately, we do not benefit, or Sibylle doesn't benefit from attack, but you do benefit a lot from morale. This goes into the third bucket multiplier. So you gain 24% morale if you're using the purple ones. Purple ones are fine. Gold ones, of course, are better. Then you're running Typhon's Prime Morale. Again, more morale and more HP. I was unlucky and haven't gotten a single Electro Gold Demon Wedge from the bounty. But if it's anything like other farms, there's probably a cycle to this, and I will probably get it this week, and we can upgrade the Electro Morale. Of course, you're gonna want to get Griffin's Thunder Wildfire. This one is important for Sibylle, and you have to get this. Gold preferably, but purple's fine. The nice thing about gold is the skill range. Not to mention, the skill damage isn't bad as well. Huge damage boost, huge range boost. It's a must-have. Now, there is one more thing that you put, and this would be optional depending on your weapon selection, which we will get to after this one. So for this one, I know you are getting reduced skill damage, but the trade-off of 50% range is really good for Sibylle. I'm telling you, you cannot farm without this thing. You can if you have the best in slot item. But if you don't, like me, I don't have the best in slot item, you have to run Pan Spectrum. This is a very good alternative until you are able to farm for her best in slot range weapon. Now let's get into the weapons. We're gonna spend some time with the melee, of course. Yes, Sibylle's sword that we use for Hellfire is of course Sibylle's best in slot. Honestly, this is the best in slot for all HP scalers. There's another character that I built and we'll get to her on a different video. Max HP. Really important. This is where you're going to scale your damage and where you're going to get your HP, because you're not getting it from the demon wedges. You're getting it from your weapon, and you got it from that one demon wedge, which is Nirvana, which is already good enough. This is 270% increase of HP on this weapon alone. Very important to max out. Now, like I said, this weapon you can use any HP scaler. The mileage is incredible. Alright, the demon wedges. As you can see, your boy is a grinder. I have impetus plus 10. You don't need this. You don't need to deal damage with your weapon. But what you do need is rage trammel plus 10. This would be the first thing that you go for the upgrades. Everything else is not as important. This is important. You need trigger probability 99% on this one, and then you get trigger probability from trammel. So trammel, rage trammel, and if you purely want to go all in on trigger probability and never deal damage with your weapon, then you could also trade out some of the damage like rage. You can replace it with this one, trigger probability again, 70.78%. Doing this, if you do this, oops, max tolerance reached. Where can I put this? Oh no. Can we put this here? Yep, we can. So you would put this here. And there you would have it. You'd have maximum trigger probability, which is actually really good for you. And this is probably what I'll be running from now on after adjusting it. Because you won't be swinging your weapon as much for damage anyway. So yeah, this is good on its own already. Just max out trigger probability and you're good to go. Next up, for your range weapon. Now, if you have Excruce Duo at maximum stacks, max melt, you can use this one for now. And use the Omen Spectrum here, right? This is for now. The moment you find her best in slot, or you have her best in slot range weapon, which is a 5 smelt Destructo for 72%. Oops. This will reach 72% if you max this out. It's always double the amount here. Yeah, that is a lot of skill range, and that will fix all your problems. This would be your skill range scaler with your Griffins. This is her best in slot for the range. And when you get this best in slot 5 smelted, you would then change this one into another one of these ones for an additional 12% morale. Morale is very powerful and a must-have for this character. Yeah, that's how I would build her. The reason why you're going for morale, this is a 3rd bucket multiplier. Then you have skill damage already from this. This is a lot of skill damage on its own. So you would not need more of it. So yeah. And don't think that when you lose your Excruce Duo, you're gonna suffer from a lot of DPS loss, right? You're thinking, oh man, I'm gonna lose 48% for 72% of skill range. That seems bad. It's not bad, because you're gonna be replacing the one here on your Demon Wedge. You're gonna replace this, and you're gonna gain 30 skill damage back, so you're only losing about 18% skill damage in reality. So you take this out, then you put in a 12% morale, you're actually winning, and you're above. You could try to scale a little bit more HP, try to balance the formula out, but I'm telling you, you're better off with more morale. Okay, so that's basically the Hellfire Demon Wedge builds, equipment builds. That's the Sibylle build, not Hellfire. Siby. Siby! That's Siby's build, my second favorite character. Because, well, damn, look at how natural that is. Well done. Now for her partners. My bad. Since you are scaling morale on the Demon Wedges, what do you think you should do? You should get the Beth to buff up your skill damage. The Beth skill, we talked about this before already, will give you a massive 52% bonus skill damage, plus this equals to 60% skill damage. And guys, she does spam this a lot. I don't know why some people are saying that their Tabeth is not spamming. Mine is spamming this no problem. So Tabeth doesn't need any Intron upgrades. She's good as a I0 buffer. One of my favorite characters in the game as well, just because of how useful this character is. And you can put her one special Demon Wedge to give you more attack, but this is more for DPSers, not really for Sibylle. Not too important, but for my other CB build, it is important. Okay, so that's Sibylle's best partner. Now, Truffle would be the most ideal because she will give you a lot of damage boost. But because her AI is not reliable, even though I fixed it, it's still broken for some activities that require multiple waves, such as defense, which is the most important one, and exploration, the other most important one. So it's a shame. I hope they fix that. But if you want to use her for theater, it works. So for theater, also for exploration and for defense purposes, there is a bug that happens when you use Sibylle, by the way, and you don't have enough skill range. The mobs that are the most outer part in the defense don't come close, and it's annoying. So the best partner for her is actually Hellfire, because Hellfire will then taunt those mobs that are too far away, and they'll come closer. Not to mention, Hellfire also gives you a 30% damage increase. She will always be attacking the orb, so she'll always be near the orb, and all your damage will then be amplified by her 30% final damage, including the one from the orb. She is so good. She's actually pretty good as a support. The only thing that would make her better is if this would apply to everybody and not just Hellfire. Because if you read this, increased damage dealt to enemies taunted by Hellfire. It should say like allies included or something, but it doesn't. It's only for her. So 30% damage is pretty good. It's similar to Daphne's. Daphne can get you up to like 30% as well, except Daphne gives you an additional damage with a Nemo, which is better than Hellfire. The only reason why I'm not running Daphne is because I do not have her Ice 6. You only get that bigger bonus in Ice 6. So there is that. Alright guys, so that's the build. Those are the partners. The Geniemon is of course Boxy Bro with Deft and with this one, Boot Drop. If you want to build a pet for her, you just need to give them the Beefy. Give them Beefy, and then you could maybe use, if you don't want to, you don't want to buy the Electro Pet, although the Electro Pet is really cool and good. I would go with the Electro Pet. This one I kind of regret, but Electro Pet is good. Yeah, you could go with, honestly, this guy is not bad. Wait, where is it? That's Luminos. It's this one, right? The Electro one. It gives you more multiplier for your HP, which is pretty good. Also increases your attack for 1.2%, although you don't really scale with attack. And it gives you Ultra Shield. Not the best, but not the worst either. You could also use the blue one, which isn't as good, but is also pretty decent. You gain max HP, and you gain these bonuses as well. So it's not bad at 40 seconds cooldown. But then you don't know which one you're gonna get. So it's a toss-up. It's not terrible, and this does upgrade quite well on this regard and this regard. But then it's like a crapshoot because you don't know what's happening. Alright, so that's it for this video. Enjoy the demo, subscribe if this helped you, and of course like the video. Peace out. I'll leave you to the demo guy. Alright guys, so we are now at wave 11 of the typical secret letter farm. Let's test out Sibylle, shall we? I didn't bother with the earlier levels because, well, they're easy. What the hell? They still haven't fixed that charge attack bug. The one where you teleport. And we bugged the stage because of that one teleport. No. Come on, spawn things. Alright, there we go. Get our health stacks up. As you can see, wave 11, she's still going strong. She's by no means a weak character. Well, for farming, at least. But I guess for like push content, you could argue that, yep, she is definitely in need of a buff as well, but she is, I think, more powerful than Hellfire. Hellfire's still my number one, but Sibylle's definitely more powerful and more capable. And Sibylle actually has quite decent bossing capabilities as a single target DPSer. Even though her skills are kinda AoE, she does suffer from skill range, so that's why we made our adjustments to the build for skill range. But the moment we go for bossing, that would all change. You wouldn't need to run all the skill range stuff that we put. Wave 14. Level 90 mobs, 95 mobs. I'm not even stacking the stacks yet. I'll start stacking it slowly. 5 stacks, 6 stacks, and 7 stacks. You might be wondering why I'm using Tebeth. Well, like I said, Truffle AI is still bugged. I fixed it, but only for certain situations. When it comes to these multiple wave activities, her buffing interval becomes bigger and bigger the deeper you go. The more waves you do, the longer it takes for her to buff. But in the beginning, she'll buff you all the time. So the moment they fix the AI properly, I think I would swap to Truffle and Tebeth. But Hellfire is doing a pretty good job by adding a 30% final damage multiplier on the orb, which results in me doing 30% more damage. Final damage. You might notice that the mobs are starting to live a little bit longer. At wave 16, they start to survive a little bit longer, but still kinda comfortable to clear. Wave 17. Basically with her, you're not even hitting the orb anymore to maintain the stacks of the thing in the middle. You know, the thing that makes your skills deal a lot of damage, the 600. Your E automatically does that for you. I'm only attacking it to maintain my HP stacks. Alright, now I gotta maintain the higher. I think she needs a lot of work though when it comes to her buffing. She is definitely fun, but she could use some pretty cool quality of life changes to her skills and how it works and how it scales. But we'll get into that on the how do we make Sibylle better video. So level 120 mobs, they're still tough, but it's still able to sort of clear, right? But the clearing speed is slower. But like I said, she can clear. We're gonna try to hit wave 20. Our sanity is gone though, so this might be a little rough. But we will try. No more sanity. This is gonna be really tough to beat. Ooh, let's go. We just need 3. Okay, we're good. Hopefully Hellfire changes target to the orb again, because her being there is not doing good for us. We need her closer to the orb. Okay, one of the big boys drop. Another one of the big boys drop. Another one of the big boys drop, and another one. That's a pillar of shish kebab right in front of me. Obviously, wave 20 is taking long, but we will clear it and we will get through it. Nope, I just cast the wrong thing. %. The other build that I have planned for this character has a bit more potential, I think. And I actually can't wait to get it done, but it is a very heavy investment build. This one is not so heavy to build. And there you have it, guys. Wave 20 cleared. Let's take a look at the results. She can reach it. It does take quite a while. 15 minutes to clear 20 waves. I know, guys, not the best time, but still. We are using Sibylle. If you are a Sibylle enjoyer, you can do what I do if you use mine. And it's not even the best version of it yet. Alright, so that's it for this video, guys. Thank you all for watching yet again, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.